Welcome back to the channel and continuing the review of the MTR105 Rotating Machine Tester from Megger. This particular video will be about resistance measurements, which obviously all three of these instruments can carry out. So the MTR105 has a 2-wire mode and also a 4-wire mode. The Keysight U1461A has a 2-wire mode and also an earth bond measurement, which is a 200 milliamp measurement with a limited resistance range, and the MetraHit coil that has a single ohms function available that's fully automatic. So spec wise, on 2-wire resistance mode, the MTR105 can read from 10 milliohm up to 1 mega ohm. The Keysight U1461A reads from 0.1 ohm up to 60 mega ohm, and the MetraHit coil reads from 10 milliohm up to 30 mega ohm. The other two ranges for the Keysight, the earth bond range that's just there, that measures from 1 milliohm to 66 kiloohms, and the 4-wire measurement for the MTR105 that measures from 0.01 milliohm all the way up to 10 ohms. Okay, we'll test out the 2-wire mode first on the MTR105, max reading of 1 mega ohm. So I can set my resistance box up there to 1 mega ohm, just plug it into the 8846A here and we'll get a reading. And I'll just swap him over and put him into MTR105. Switch some lights on. So 992 kiloohms on the MTR105 and 999 on the 8846A. So reasonable representation there. You do get the current range that the instrument has switched to there, and the instrument does have, so if I pull the lead out, the instrument, obviously this is the live display, you get the last recorded reading just in the corner here, so it's kind of got an auto hold function available to it. You also can change the range between 20 milliamp and 200 milliamp. You can change here between single direction mode or a bidirectional mode, and then the other one is the diode there. And then also when you're on resistance mode here, you can change the continuity threshold that is there and select that to what you want. And then to enable that, you hit the speaker button here and it brings it on. And when you get below the resistance, it will sound the buzzer. Okay, so that's the measurement on the MTR105. I'll just swap them over. And max reading on the Keysight is 60 mega ohms. So we'll check him off on the fluke first, which is 59.8. We'll call him there, and then to go into so that's 59. Yeah, bit of a faster reaction than the fluke unit, but pretty accurate again. And on the function, you've got a similar sort of setup to the MTR105 with the selection of the button. So also on the U1461A, you have the buzzer mode there. I'm not sure if you can change the actual value that it sees for that. I'm not seeing anything in the settings. On this, you also have the diode test, and you also have capacitance on this particular one, which I'll get onto in a different video. So that's the normal resistance mode on this instrument. I'll switch over to the MetraHit coil, which can go to 30 mega ohms. So that's 30 mega ohms on there. And we'll see what he is. Yeah, a little bit further out than the other instruments on its max, but probably still perfectly adequate for the vast majority of readings. Certainly for motor testing, it'll be more than adequate. Okay, so what I will just do is have a quick swap around and we'll do the lower end resistance on the instruments now. Okay, back with the MTR105 on low resistance reading. We'll move to the 10 milliohms. So that's 10 milliohm on there. Turn the speaker off. So what I just need to do is zero the instrument. So that's its bottom resolution. I'll just try my 100 milliohms as well. Yeah, so that's pretty acceptable. Try the Keysight. Okay, for the Keysight. So that is 100 milliohms, which you can see it's 0.1 ohm there anyway. Keysight, just flicking back onto the 8846A just to see. Yeah, so with rounding up, you'd be close to 0.11. Okay, and we'll go back to MetraHit Coil. Just zero him. So that's 10 milliohm, which you can do, and to 100 milliohm. Yep, there's the 100 milliohm, so pretty much spot on with that one as well. Okay, so we've got the same test here with a 0.1 ohm resistance, but this time we've switched the Keysight to the earth bond test, which will be a 200 milliamp test, which is a requirement under the UK standards for that level of current. The difference between this one, if I just zoom down a little bit, so the difference between this test and the resistance is in this jack and the common, but to get to carry out an earth bond or current test as well, you have to move it over to this jack. The other thing that you notice with this test is it's not automatic like the resistance range is. I'm going to have to use the test button to initiate the test. So what we'll just do is null it. The other thing you have to do as well, if I let go, I don't get a very good reading. You've got to hold this test button in all the time until the reading stabilises. So it's not too user friendly. It's not very settled either. Okay, 0.093. We'll null that. It's nulled. I'll switch to 100 milliohm, and we'll go again. Under 1 milliohm. It's pretty decent. So that's all the testing for this video. I'm going to look at the 4-wire test capability of the MTR105 in a separate video because neither of the other two instruments have that functionality at all. So I'll score this based upon all the tests that I've done. My preference is for the MTR105. It has a bit simpler, more reliable operation than the Keysight unit, where you have to swap the connections and the functionality is spread across 2 positions of the function switch. The MetraHit Coil, that doesn't have 200 milliamp test functionality anyway, so that kind of comes in last place. That makes it first place, and 5 points for the MTR105, 3 points for the U1461A, and 1 point for the MetraHit coil. So the only thing I would say about the MTR105, if I go to insulation, I have a 3-phase test capability for winding in insulation resistance mode. In voltage, I can also get a 3-phase measurement. I think it would have been brilliant if Megger had have added that functionality to this resistance function as well, so that I could have done a 3-phase winding resistance measurement off of one of these functions here, and would have made the resistance function more consistent with the insulation test function and the voltage function. And for me, for testing a motor winding phase resistance, all it needs is the 2-wire function. I don't really need the absolute accuracy of 4-wire. I'm just looking at consistency of reading, which this instrument can perfectly provide. I just feel it would have been better if they'd have added that 3-phase function to it as well. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video, which will be on the 4-wire resistance test capability of the MTR105.